Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando for MeidasTouch. I hate to do this to you guys today, but I have a clip of Kyle Rittenhouse that I want you to take a look at. Ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, my news feed has become overrun with right-wingers like Kyle Rittenhouse. And yeah, I know I could block him, but he's like a train wreck that you just can't look away from. He has become just like Donald Trump and every other MAGA Republican. He's become a grifter, constantly begging people for money, constantly asking people to help him out of the situation that he put himself in. And he's wearing out this line that I hear more and more MAGA people using these days, which is, if they can do this to me, they can do it to you. Take a look at this little shit, and then let's come back and talk about him.
Looking at it, like, if they can do this to me, a 20-year-old kid who has no financial assets, who's pretty much a dead broke college kid, they can do this to anybody. They can do this to somebody who's established a career, who has money, and take all of their money.
Yeah, no, this is
because if they take me down, they will take the rest of us down with it.
That's a great point, Kyle.
You know, that is one of the most cringe-worthy lines that MAGA Republicans have adopted these days. If they can do this to me, they can do it to you. Yeah, you're right, Kyle. If you go out there and inject yourself into a situation that you have no business whatsoever being involved in, then yes, you can be held accountable for your actions. If you try to overthrow your government or overturn an election, you can be held accountable for the things that you do. MAGA Republicans these days are working overtime to reframe everything in their favor. And Kyle Rittenhouse is nothing more than another grifter trying to grift people out of their money and say, well, if they can do this to me, they can do it to you. And somewhere is a guy on the couch saying, yeah, man, they can do this to me too. Yeah, they can. If you go out there and stick yourself into that kind of situation, you can be held accountable for your actions. And it's really funny to me that this comes from the Republican Party, who, when I was growing up, was the party about responsibility, was the party about pulling yourself up by your boots. And now they are the party that is trying to dodge any and all responsibility. They're not pulling themselves up by their boots. They're expecting everybody to give them the handout. I mean, they want to talk about liberals and progressives asking for handouts. We are asking for people. We're not asking for a hand here. We're asking for a better hand to play. He's asking for a handout, and he's doing so every day on Twitter. And he's become a hero to people who, on the day they saw Kyle Rittenhouse do what he did, they were sitting on their couch wishing they could have did that. And that's the most disturbing part of it. The ones that are cheering on Kyle Rittenhouse are the ones that on that day were sitting there going, I'll tell you what I'd like to do if I was there. And that's what's so sickening about it. And when I go back and watch that footage, I remember seeing Kyle Rittenhouse for the first time. And it was one of those times where I saw this big, glaring, gaping image in our system and just how screwed up it is. And I saw the racism firsthand. The fact that a white kid made it that far down the street, first of all, carrying that weapon, we all know that had that been a black kid carrying the same weapon on the same street, he wouldn't have made it nowhere near as far as Kyle Rittenhouse. He would not be turned into the hero that Kyle Rittenhouse has been turned into. But that's the MAGA Republicans, folks. That's what we're dealing with here. Their heroes are Kyle Rittenhouse and Ashley Babbitt, and they find every way in the world to glorify these people and meanwhile demonize people who were real victims of the system and real victims of the racial injustice in this country. Kyle Rittenhouse is going to have a long road ahead of him because, you know, he's talking about how, you know, I'm a kid with nothing and they're coming after me and they can come after you too. That's just such a bullshit line. People needs to be reminded that, yeah, if you break the law, they can come after you. You're not free from responsibility. You're not free from being held accountable. MAGA Republicans love to use this line a lot too. They love to say, Biden puts America last. We're here to put America first. No, we're simply disagreeing with you and we're holding you accountable. We're not putting you last. We're just disagreeing with your rhetoric. We see through your rhetoric and we're holding you accountable. It's not about putting someone first or putting someone last. Kyle Rittenhouse put himself into a situation that he had no business being involved in. And there are people out there who are making this kid out to be a hero. And at the end of the day, it is sad because you want to talk about grooming the children. Kyle Rittenhouse was groomed to believe that he could do anything he wanted and get away with it. And he's going to spend the rest of his life grifting. He's going to spend the rest of his life trying to appeal to that group of people. And if the MAGA brand eventually burns out and becomes like a bad Vanilla Ice CD, then Kyle Rittenhouse is going to find himself up the creek without a paddle. But you know, it's sad. I cringe every time I see Kyle Rittenhouse. And yes, I could block him on Twitter, but he's just kind of like a glorious train wreck that I can't look away from. And so, that's where we're at in this country. A kid is grifting after unaliving 2 people. He's out there grifting and asking for money and saying that, oh, they can come after you too. Yeah, Kyle, if you put yourself in a situation like that, you can be held accountable for it. And to anyone who wants to try to, go out here and impersonate Kyle Rittenhouse, you can be held accountable too. Anyone that wants to go out and try to overturn an election or overthrow their government, you can be held accountable too. So for the party that says we're all about responsibility and all about pulling ourselves up by the boots, you need to get back to that rhetoric. You need to accept responsibility, pull yourselves up, and quit begging everybody for a handout. Folks, I've had a good time making this video. I hope you've had a good time watching it. I hope you hit the subscribe button here on MeidasTouch. Continue to share these videos. Let everyone know where we're at. We're the fastest growing news network in the country, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So until next time, I'm Tennessee Brando. You guys keep tuning in, and I'll keep telling you the truth.
The best part of waking up? MAGA tears in my cup. Check out the new MAGA tears mug available now at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com. It's 100% union made right here in the USA. I know I'm not tired of winning yet. How about you? Get yours today.